How do you like my new music? I think it's well, I don't think it's better than the other one, but it's kind of cool. I feel cool. Hello, everyone. It's good
Hi.
to see you. It's good to see you. Let's see who's here. I made a boo-boo and didn't put the right day or time or something. But Bora came through. She says notifications were off. I was supposed to start at 12:10 this afternoon.
Uh-oh.
I know. So, and Julie, I was confused when mine said, yeah, yours said 9:10 a.m. Holy cow. What did I do? I did not receive notification. But you set your own alarm for us? Thank you. I'm
Oh,
honored.
boy.
Ness,
Thank
it's
you
good
so
to see you,
much.
dear.
Hi, Ness. I can see the comments today.
Oh, you couldn't the other time?
No,
There
I
you go.
couldn't. I had it, I had the screen reduced and it didn't show.
Ah, that's right. So Denise is your student and my neighbor and my friend. She's whoops. Welcome, Denise. Bora, it's all good. It happens to others as well. I appreciate that. I need to have oh, Denise said hers was 9:10. Did you really show up at 9:10? I was still in bed. Not really, but I certainly wasn't camera ready. Oh gosh. Well, thank you everyone for being here. We do have a little smaller group. I'm going to be behind the scenes looking at the questions, starring questions. We may or may not have time for personal rather, not private. This is not private questions, but we'll I'm sure we'll sneak in a few. Here is McGrill. She is a member of mine, and it's just so fun to see you. And Charlie, Sage of Fire. Hello, everyone. Louisa, you made it. That's great. I think we're ready to probably begin. Okay. I was just distracted by Cynthia. Cynthia Smith usually comes in. And there she is. Hello, Cynthia.
Cynthia.
And you know
Hi,
what, Cynthia?
everyone.
You just sent me a message and I haven't got it yet. So God bless you. Thank you so much. Jen, nice to see you. Karen Doyle. Hello. Hello. I have questions, but I will wait after the general week reading. Okay. I love Ness. She keeps us on the even. She's a 33. Keeps us on the even. So we have this has been quite a week, hasn't it? Oh my God, the start of a trial. We've got Israel and Iran doing some tomfoolery over there. And thank goodness we've got Lalit who has all the answers. So I'm going to, yeah, no pressure, Lalit. No pressure.
No
Hello,
pressure.
Sharon.
I don't know if you call this an answer, but it's a little bit of an explanation. What the heck is going on? Well,
Yeah.
folks, you may have noticed that the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we've been talking about since we began our sessions together is going to be exactly precise tomorrow. So today our live stream is the 19th. The conjunction is exact on the 20th of April on Saturday, and it happens in 21 degrees and 49 minutes of Taurus. So today we're going to talk about the meaning of that conjunction in depth, how it will affect different degrees of your chart. We're going to talk about societal influences that relate to everyone, and then I'm going to show a couple of charts as examples of how this will you can use to see how it will work in your own chart. We're going to look at Donald, number 45, and we're going to look at the chart of the nation of Israel to see where, because both of those are very good examples of where this conjunction is landing. And you can see what kind of, in what area in the house it is, so that see where it's affecting you. So, um, a contributing factor as to why the last week of March, when we were talking about the lunar eclipse, and then we were talking about the solar eclipse, these things are contributing factors to this Uranus conjunction, Jupiter conjunction, because they're all working together, building power. And we started out by talking about Pluto entering Aquarius. And we know that that's the harbinger of the new age. A big age of humanity is completely changing gear. And the Pluto entering Aquarius, I made a little chart of rulerships here. Everybody got this, that I haven't sent everyone's chart, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be finishing them up this weekend. But Aquarius is highlighted in blue there, and you can see that the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. So when Pluto entered Aquarius, the energy of Pluto, which is sheer power, it's the volcanic power of Pluto, is now giving strength to Uranus. This is why we really look at rulerships, and when you want to understand astrology, you need to, when you think of Aquarius, you think of its ruler. And if you have any planet like Pluto in that sign, it's going to add Pluto energy to Uranus. It's making it much stronger, and it's going to work together with that energy of Uranus. And as if already Uranus is strong enough by itself as a ruling planet. And together with Jupiter, which is expansion, that's like nuclear fission in a nutshell there. Uranus, Jupiter, and Pluto all together. To give you an idea how much empowerment happens historically, the last time you can, when Pluto entered Aquarius, 1789, we had the Jupiter Uranus conjunction and Pluto in Aquarius. That would be the last time. That was in Leo, and we talked about the French Revolution. That's when it occurred, right after the American Revolution. We're all tied in with the feeling of liberty, equality, humanitarianism. Like we're working on it at a new level now, because the cycles of astrology are more spiral than a circle, because we enter the new cycle in a different level. So you imagine the energy of the French Revolution was different. It was in the conjunction was in Leo, not in Taurus like it is now. And Leo is the sign of of monarchy and the rulers, and of a ruling class, of a class society with a monarchy. And that those, it didn't end so well for them being beheaded at that time. That was not a wonderful thing. But so that is the kind of energy that we're feeling now. It's not in Leo, but it's in Taurus. Now you'll notice that Taurus is a fixed sign, and I've circled the fixed signs in red. Taurus, we have Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius completes the quatrain of the 4 fixed signs. So if any of you have anything in the fixed signs that you see here circled, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio, especially in the range of the planets that we talked about, you are going to feel it a lot. You're going to really feel it more intensely than other people. So here I wrote a little how you calculate the range of things. So this is how you would read astrology words. Jupiter is conjunct Uranus. The placement is 21 degrees of Taurus and 49 minutes. So in your chart, if you have anything in fixed signs, we know what they are, anywhere near this with what we call an orb of plus or minus 3 degrees, that means that it's the range of degrees that are still active. Like 21, 22 are exact. But even if it's 3 degrees less than this, take away 3 from 21, that would bring you to 18. Or 3 degrees more, rounding up, it would be, this is close to 22, we'll call it 25. So anything between 18 and 25 degrees in any of the fixed signs is going to be a particular strong challenge for you folks. I've got my moon in 25 degrees of Scorpio. I was just laughing with Deborah about what happened to me. I've been dealing with troubles. My moon is in Scorpio. That's motherhood, and at 12th house, that's mediumship and sensitivity, but it's also feeling imprisoned. Um, Donald Trump is looking at things in his 12th house. I was feeling a bit imprisoned because of my son's car trouble. So I was laughing with Deborah. I spent like 4 days last week just dealing with his little problems. And so what happened was I finally bought him a membership to Auto Club, and I said, please, it's taking me, all my days are taken with the car issue. So I gave you a gift membership, and the card is in the mail to both of you. So you can call Auto Club to tow you or bring gas or whatever goes wrong with your car. So he called me on Wednesday just before it kicked in. He hadn't got the card yet. And he said, Mom, we got the car smog. We went to the DMV and the car burst into flames. It had an electrical problem and it blew up, and they had to call the fire department, and the whole car is just burnt to a cinder, and they had to tow it away. I thought he was kidding me. I said, come on. I'm like, oh, that's BS. He said, no, Mom, really, you got to come and help. So this is the energy of Uranus is sudden. It's unexpected. It can be really chaotic, and it will bring you unexpected change, and it brings you at a jump. It isn't like gradual. It's like, oh man, the car blew up and now it's so you will see dramatic changes. And even if you know dramatic changes are coming, they still get you off guard because they were not exactly, I've never thought the car would blow up like that. I mean, that was really crazy. I was laughing at it with Deborah. It was so unbelievable. So anyway, um, expect dramatic changes. Hopefully your car won't explode, but certain, depending on the area of life you find in your house, you will find sudden changes. And let's talk about how that we can make more sense of these things. So it's like a giant cauldron with all of these things. We had the lunar eclipse, we have Pluto in Aquarius, we have the solar eclipse, we have this giant conjunction, and it happens about this conjunction happens about every 14 years, but not as strong as this because it has all these other factors that are contributing to it, that's amplifying it. So the changes that we're going through are not just lasting a few months even. These are changes that are of an epic epic changes that are for the whole eon. So we're entering a whole new era of humanity, and it's one of the most dramatic changes that humanity has gone through ever. We haven't seen changes like this in thousands and thousands of years. So it's a remarkable period that we're living in. And the most interesting part is still to come, but this conjunction is exactly perfect on tomorrow, the 20th, but it will last for some time. Now, so let me show you. Let me show you the Donald Trump's chart, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Let's see. So Donald Trump, I circled in red the things that are important. The Jupiter and Uranus are in red at the top of his chart, right at the midheaven. The midheaven is for everyone how your status, how other people see you, your career, and your place in the world, how people view you, and if it's the midheaven really shows um, in powerful charts, the world leaders and have charts that have important points there. So this is where the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction is happening in Taurus, right there, exactly at his midheaven, showing he's got a dramatic change coming um, in terms of how people are going to view him and his place in world politics and how people see him and his power. A dramatic, big change. And it's very strong. And if you look at the other thing I circled is his ascendant. Now that is Leo. That is, as we mentioned, that's the sign of like royalty, or people who consider themselves like royalty, have very strong ego. And he has Mars right on the ascendant, being belligerent and always lashing out and fighting whenever he is threatened in any way. And he really sees himself as the center of the whole universe. And that is about to change, and in a very big time way. It's those two are um, exact degrees. You see, it's within our framework exactly, and so it looks very scary. The physical body, his physical body is going to be um, having a very big crisis and deterioration. You especially look to the circulatory system, either an aneurysm, heart attack, or brain problems relating to circulation. But it looks
For entertainment purposes only.
for entertainment purposes only. Of course, I'm not a doctor, and this is just astrology. You don't believe in astrology anyway, do you? No.
People don't know that I looked at his chart earlier today. Yes, indeed. You didn't think I knew astrology, but I recorded my report for Donald Trump, and here it is.
Lose. Good day, sir.
That is my report.
Oh my gosh. Oh dear. I just saw a funny quote that I wrote down, and I don't know who said it, but it made me laugh. It said it was bet on the future, because it's going to happen anyway. So Donald's is not looking very bright. And so that is the prognosis in reference. We're referencing this one element, the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus, but this is a big one, and the eclipses have hit him hard. So it's like a knockout punch for him. Really pretty drastic. So he's going to have a very serious physical deterioration. That's for entertainment purposes only. Let's look quickly at the chart of Israel. It's not an in-depth study of it, but how referencing this one event. So this is Israel. And you know how I was saying, if anything is on the fixed signs in your chart in that degree, it will affect you. And Israel's got all four of them. Boom, 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 boom. It's got Leo, it's got Scorpio, it's got Aquarius and Taurus, all a direct hit. So the sun, Israel's sun, is in 23 degrees of Taurus in the 8th house. This is the house of death. It's a transition. Israel, it will not be the same after this, and it will have to completely change position because things are looking very grim. And other people's money coming to Israel is going to be, they're going to get a lot less support from the other countries than they were getting financially for their defenses and stuff. They're going to be hurting for money, and they're going to have to rebuild their image in the world. If you look at the top of the chart, so that the sun over in the right part, that's what we were talking about. Now up at the top, we have Leo, where we have Saturn and Mars. Never a good combination, and that's standing in the world. and next to that is Pluto and the moon. Now, Israel, that shows how Israel was formed by a karmic situation. You know, the Holocaust was so horrible on the Jewish people right after the war, and there were so many people that no longer had a home, that had been kicked out of every country, and they were really suffering a real karmic um, loss. But here they didn't learn the lesson about people who have lost their country and who've been being beat up upon and killed and suffering. They know what it is to be in that position, and they're not showing mercy that they needed, that they were shown in building this state of Israel. They need to be a little bit more compassionate to break that. This karma cycle is very negative for them, and it's looking very bad. Their standing in the world is really going down the tube, and it needs to be healed. They've got Chiron in Scorpio, so things are not. That's a great, what called a grand cross in fixed signs, and that's a worst thing you can have. It's going bad in every direction. So Israel is going to have to rebuild, and it looks to me like a two-state solution is the only way out of this morass. They've created such a terrible situation that I don't think anything less than a two-state solution would fix this problem. It's looking very grim. But anyway, you see an idea how you look in your own chart for those places. Look in all the fixed signs, especially, and those in that degree range, and you'll know that you're in for some surprises. Let's talk about the kind of energy that has that this configuration has caused in the past, so you get a feeling for what Uranus and Jupiter can do. It just not, not just in the political realm, but in other things. Now, Uranus is a planet of technology and inventions, and especially things that relate to, well, um, in historical terms, you had the first hot air balloons, the first gliders, the moon landing, things that have to do with outer space or new inventions. You have Einstein and Edison capture the essence of Uranus and Jupiter, because it's thinking out of the box, new technology. And here's a thought that I had about it, because in Taurus is the earth sign, and Gaia is represented by Taurus. And I'm thinking that some new technology, such as the bacteria that eat plastic, that is a new thing, because we have so much garbage plastic in the ocean, it's really creating a problem. And they've discovered some new bacteria that can assimilate that plastic, and that might be a help. But some technology inventions that can help us cure the planet. There will be new inventions that will help in that area, that will be surprising, of that sort, that will help a lot, because Gaia is suffering a lot, and hopefully we'll get some new inventions to help clear things up. Other people and other things that might be represented by Jupiter and Uranus, we had quantum physics being invented in one of the at the conjunction in 1899, 1901, and also like Copernicus discovering the solar system, that the sun was really the center. And physics is beginning to understand the connection between consciousness and material universe, so that all material objects have consciousness, and that the physical world is actually created from consciousness. This is what scientists are discovering. Now, in the dream realm, which is a much less dense realm, the Earth is a really dense planet. It's harder living here than just about anywhere, and so we're really in the graduate school. We think of Earth as being maybe we think of it as being a lower vibration, but actually people come here to learn the hard lessons. So if we know that, and when you graduate from here, you have done something really spectacular because it's so hard here. And the material realm is very dense. And we were talking about manifestation last week, and I'm going to redo the voice on that. Deborah sent me a way. We're going to redo the voice so it won't be so disturbing. But anyway, in the earth plane, things are hard to materialize. If you're in dream realm or if you're in spirit realm, if you have passed over, had a near-death experience, everyone says, you see it. If you think something, you think you want to be at the pyramid, you're instantly there. And if you can create your whole surroundings in a flash. So discoveries about that are being done in science so that people are beginning to discover the nature of reality and how it works. And so we know they've proven that consciousness does produce matter, and there's entanglement there. Everything is one also. So science is becoming aware of the spiritual realm in a new way. And so all of us here have to work on the inner shift that everyone is going through, so because it requires some action, change of your consciousness so you can follow your own unique path. Everyone here has a unique path, a unique agreement, and you are all here contributing in the forwarding of this goal. And every person is an important part of the puzzle. And your contribution may seem small to you, but it's unique and really important. So do a little meditating on that. And we can expect areas of humanitarian influence in the areas that in the past times that we've had this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus, the socioeconomic structure has changed. If you think about the French Revolution, for example, the distribution of money and of goods changed. The class society changed, and the economic structure changed. So in our country, the tax structure is going to change, and will be much greater equalizer. So more egalitarian, and instead of just having 1% of people with all the money, there will be a better distribution of wealth and well-being. Okay, so think of Uranus as a planet that has to do with light and electricity, connectivity, like the unified field theory of Einstein, and the idea that all is one and one is all. We're coming around to understand that idea. And so let's see. So so I think we can expect changes in Gaia that will, and also Earth sign of Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is, of course, representing women's rights. And so this whole issue of women's rights is going to have a bigger place in forming the new society than we can imagine, because women's rights is going to come to the forefront, really influencing the next election so strongly that the power will shift into the party that will allow for the democratic changes, to the tax structure, to the social issues, women's rights, and ability to control their bodily issues will be set. Everything will be set straight, and it's a painful period that we have to go through this, and some people are suffering from it, but it's going to work out in our favor, because these social shifts are very difficult and they require a lot of energy to overcome the barriers, and we all have to work toward the goal. And these problems like women's issues and etc. are mobilizing people that maybe would be just sitting back and not be thinking about it. Everyone's realizing how important it is, and so historical. There was a Uranus-Jupiter conjunction back in 1968 and 69, and that's when the women's lib movement first really took off, and the women's lib movement. And I was thinking, the Vietnam protests were really big in that time, and there was a terrible thing that happened today of that the man that set himself on fire in front of the courthouse in New York. I was thinking that I hadn't seen anything like that since 1969, when there was another Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. I was a student at UCSD, and it was a small school at that time, very science-oriented, and there was a student that was the son of an admiral in San Diego. Is a big Navy town, and he was the son of the admiral, the head of the Navy in San Diego at the time. And he, in protest to the Vietnam War, set himself on fire in the quad at UCSD and burned himself to death in front of everyone. It was a terrible, shocking thing. And when I saw that thing today, it reminded me of that. I haven't heard of anyone doing that as a civil disobedience since that period. And they were both Uranus-Jupiter conjunctions at the exact time. So it's like the social upheaval can be shocking. It can be chaotic. It can be disturbing, but hold fast to your faith, because it's going to all lead toward the shift in consciousness that is so big that humanity has never gone through anything like it. And we're evolving so swiftly now that there is a lot of resistance. You've seen there's a whole group of people that is resisting the change in a big way, and things are so polarized. But the force of inertia on the side of change is so great. It has never been stronger in the history of humanity, really. We've never seen this power, this force, and it's so great. It's like the force of a slow freight train getting started, or that boat, that ship, that cargo ship that ran into the bridge in Maryland was so heavy, there was no stopping it. It had so much inertia. We're gathering inertia for this change, and it is an unstoppable force. You can be sure of that. And each of us has chosen to be here and is part of that change. And so it's a little bit, you have to stay centered, and you need to be taking care of yourself so that you're in shape for the fight that we're in. It is a big change, and all of us are participants. So in your meditation and in your centering yourself, keeping focus on the good that we're working toward, always compassion, love centered, do everything you can to stay in the zone, and have your little tricks to keep you centered. We talked about that during the manifestation thing. You need to keep your vibration raised every day. Do a little meditation, a little deep breathing, a little playing with your animals, and doing kind acts to people you see. And we can't have hate in our hearts toward anyone, even if we see people are not being, maybe they're not aware of what's going on around them. So we have to take pity, because they, as Jesus said, they know not what they do. They know not what they do. So it's all part of the game. And your job is to be centered in love and goodness and kindness. And that's how we bring the change about faster. So that's my spiel.
And I'm sticking to it. I love it. Very, very, very nice. But I wanted to come in. There's been some questions for you. So Ness has this interesting fact. I know someone who is having a bipolar episode right now, and they have Jupiter and Uranus conjunction over their natal sun. in Taurus, 21 degrees. And here she is. For those of you not watching but listening, Lalit is leaning back into her recliner, going
Oh
nodding,
boy.
nodding.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I
tell
know
us about
someone
that.
too who's having a bipolar episode. It's my son, so I know I'm well aware of it. Yes, this is a trigger for the bipolar episode, and the culmination of that is tomorrow, but the influence will not. It's not like it's going to subside right away. We've been feeling it since before the lunar eclipse in March. It's going to be continuing for a while. So they need to make sure that they're on their meds because it's a very intense time for people with that disorder. It's exactly in line with their nerve. In their the nervous system is ruled by Uranus in that way and Jupiter, and it's all expanding. It's like their nerves are on fire. Their neurons are firing off randomly and they're out of control. Yes, so it's a
Well,
very difficult time. And there are some nice meditation hypnosis tapes on YouTube that are very good. There's a man that does some for Mind Valley. His name is McKenna, Paul McKenna, and he has healing and meditation and helping with sleep and helping with calming your nervous system. And I think those meditations are very helpful. So I hope that this person that you're talking about is under doctor's care. They're hard to corral. I said to my son, I said, it's like getting you to the doctor is like herding grasshoppers. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to when they need their meds and they're off them. That's just the time you can't grab them and get them to the doctor. So, uh, um, yes,
it's a tough
that's
time.
a tough time.
Sometimes that's when I talk to a lot of people when I'm really busy, and I hear so many people in crisis, and they want to know why. And of course, I'm not an astrologer. You can say, "Oh, you're crazy because of Jupiter doing whatever the wild thing somewhere." Yeah. So, but with me, I just boil it down to sometimes life is hard. It's just hard. And if you're searching for a good reason why, a lot of times it's not there. But having a reading with you or something like that will, because one of the things you get, and I do it too with numbers a little bit, but we can reveal patterns. And again, when you want to get control, this is my little soapbox. If you want to get control of your emotions, which I have worked on all my adult life, all my life. But it's to be the observer, not the victim. But it's hard to. But anything you can get a hold of that say, oh, that's what Lalit was saying. I get it now. And you can put this frenzy to the side. You can blame it on Mercury retrograde. You can blame it on whatever. But as long as you are able to gain distance and be change perspective of it, I think that's my long and short.
Exactly right. It's exactly right. And one simple trick you can do to help analyze the situation is as I mentioned, it's like 13 or 14 years that it happens. So do a little calculation. When was 13, 14 years ago? And you say, what was I going through then? Or that friend of yours that's bipolar, what was the nature of the crisis? And then look back another 13, 14 years. What were they going through at that time? You can learn a lot from those crises because the energy is the same, even if the circumstances are a little bit different. And you can see how you confronted it and how you could have done better. And what did you learn from that? So you go back every 13, 14 years and see. I'll make a little chart for next time when we come up so to say exactly when were um, the last, for the last 40 or 50 years and where did they happen? When were they and where they happened? So that you can look back and see in your chart or your friend's chart where
I'm
it was, what they were going through.
I'm gonna move. So I want to move
I see
along here, but stay with
Israel.
Ness.
I see insomnia. Yes, insomnia. Absolutely. I've been listening to that. I thought Paul, the person's name I just mentioned,
McKenna.
McKenna. He has one on sleep. That's really excellent. And that is a wonderful thing for insomnia. It has really helped me. You need headphones though to make it more effective because it does have the left and right hemisphere of the brain thing.
Well, that's good.
It's very
That's
good. It's
very,
very
very
a very
good.
good one. It's a
Or
good one.
just what I use is a ticking clock, and you can't find them anymore. They don't tick anymore. You need a long, a slow tick, and you're gonna go to right to sleep. So I want to stick with Ness because she was talking about, and I've got Dennis. I have you starred as well as Cat Mama. Hang on. Um, is it related to the Rafa assault they are planning? I'm not sure how that fits in, and you are probably better um, schooled with history and all of that. Ness, I don't know unless you have an answer.
Is it
Lalit.
related to the assault? I think Israel's chart is being triggered right now in the aggressive way, and they are ignoring the the thing is their whole nation was founded on this karma that they had when they were being persecuted, they were being killed, they were being run out of their country, and here now they're turning around instead of having learned that that's not a good place to be, they're dumping that on other people. And that's where
Mhm.
they're running into trouble because they of all people should know that's not a good place to be. But this feud that's been going on in that part of the world has been going on for thousands of years.
Well, yeah, that colonial came
Thousands of
over and
years.
granted to all the tribes, "Oh, you own this land. No, you
In
own this land."
Abraham, I mean, the tribes of Israel, that
Yeah.
the Dome of the Rock there in Jerusalem is sacred territory for the Muslims. That's where Muhammad rode his steed into heaven, ascended into heaven, and it's the same rock where Abraham was supposed to sacrifice Isaac. And it's sacred to both of the tribes, and they come from a common root, and they're forgetting that we are all one. That is the lesson. We are all one. And what happens to one person happens to everyone. What you do to someone else, you're doing it unto yourself. And so they haven't got that, and that is a really big problem because their standing is going to go really hit the bottom to such a degree that I think the only way out for them is going to be the creation of the two-state solution so that the Palestinians can finally have they deserve their home too, just as much as the Israelis do.
It's a
I
tough.
love Israel. I've been there many times, and I spent a lot of time there, and I feel that it's the most sacred place on the face of the earth. It's such a special place. It's a vortex of energy you that's just incredible. But because it is that vortex of energy, the emotions of that sort get magnified. And so there any fighting just breaks out into a terrible chaos and ruckus that is just destructive.
um,
The energy is so it's so intensified in that spot on the earth that
so,
it's sad.
yeah, I do have some numbers if we have time later that I
Yeah.
can play with you. And now Dennis has a question. Will Trumpy McCheese make it to November? I think you should say Trumpy McCheesy. And we should say,
You lose. Good day, sir.
all right.
Let me put it this way, not in the form that we have known him in the past, because he's really, if his physical body survives it, and that's if with four F's, like they'd say in Italian with four, if he survives it, his 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 brain is not going to be fully functional. and he's going to be like a shell of himself because his personality is not going to be able to withstand the onslaught because he cannot take humiliation. And that rise, it's an epic fall from grace. You saw that midheaven, his standing in society is going to crash and burn, spiraling into nosedive.
I'm going to stick with Dennis here. He's got, when is it going to be that there will be no more big owners who own this country?
Well, it's definitely the socioeconomic changes are going to be huge, but they don't happen all at once. It's going to be gradual, and there will start with the corporations footing the tax bill for so that the poorest people will have more support, and there'll be more equality. But it's not going to happen right away. But we are going to see the beginnings of it next year
Mhm.
because the government will be functional again, all three branches heading in the same direction, which is toward egalitarian humanitarian goals. Well, health care provided, children in school lunches programs and stuff reinstated, debt relief, this kind of it's a
Mhm.
start. It's a start.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. The
It's going to take.
Aquarius, the
Yeah,
Aquarius is
Aquarius, those are the you think
humanitarian.
that is Uranus. Those are the things
Mhm.
that Uranus represents. Jupiter is expansive. So these changes that we're now feeling as disruptive and chaotic are there because we have to shake up the foundation. So it's the shaker, the earthquake, the tower moment.
Mm.
It's, things have to be shaken up in order to change so that the momentum of getting the inertia is overcome. And so it's not an easy time to live through, but it's going to pay off and life is going to be so much better in the near future. Oh my goodness. We can't even imagine the things that are going to be helpful. You had a
Well,
question about energy, Dennis. I think it was you that said something about Dennis. You had a. Yeah, I live in a building. My building, I have free energy because it's all set up solar, and it's an apartment complex, and nobody has to pay anything. That's good.
that is good. That is good. He's got one more. We'll just quickly address this. Years ago, I was told people in Israel was not the country that we were always told about. But you've been there,
Yeah, I've been there a
Lalit.
lot. I was told the people of Israel was not the country that we were always told it was. Looked at me like I was crazy. Uh, I don't really understand the question. You were told that the people, you mean like, well, I think you mean something like the people in America aren't all the same as Donald Trump and what he is. Is something like that? Like the people are different than the government that represents them? Is that what you mean?
We will find out. Let's go to the next. McGrill says she's had insomnia this
Yeah.
week. And
Things
yours,
are electric,
yeah,
electricity in the air.
yeah, you're
Yes.
sensitive. You're sensitive. And Earth Star One says, I use them. The meditation really helps to sleep and calm.
Chamomile tea. I use some herbal tea and infusions, drink before bed, and meditation and deep breathing. The 6, 7, 8 breathing when it puts pressure on the vagus nerve so that all of your sympathetic nervous system will calm down. And so you inhale to 6, hold for 7, and exhale to 8. If you get that confuses you, then you can just go slow on the inhale. I mean, excuse me. The exhale has to be longer than the inhale for you to calm down your nervous system. So the 6, 7, 8 breath is one way of doing that. But if that confuses you, just exhale very slowly. Inhale,
So
hold for a second, then exhale very slowly through the mouth.
that's
Inhale,
wonderful.
hold it, exhale slowly through the mouth.
Oh, that's good
Sometimes
advice.
sleeping
Very
on your
good.
left side can help too.
And a ticking clock. Don't
Ticking
forget
clock.
a
Okay.
quiet room
Well,
with a ticking clock. Just
you know,
saying.
Deborah, we could market that MP3. I don't mean market. I mean like give away,
Yes,
you know?
it would be a nice
I'm
giveaway.
making a ticking clock sound for Deborah. I've been working on it, but I got delayed with the exploding car. So I haven't finished the project. But after we get it, we could put it up with a link, you know, or
With
something.
different
Because
ticks until and then
I'm
it's
doing one with different ticks and different
yeah.
rhythms and different sound qualities and different lengths of time. So you have a
We'll put,
2 hour.
we will put everyone to sleep.
Everyone could get yeah.
Promise.
After I make it, I'll make a link and that everyone
Yeah,
can download it.
that'd be
Or
great.
you can just.
So we need to say a prayer for Mary Thornberry's brother. My brother was dying and lots of changes. Was dying means that he has passed away. Um, next time, what I'll do is as these come in, I'll stop you and we'll put that together. Mary, I'm curious if he died recently over all these crazy stars we have up here. Cat Mama has a very interesting thing. And saw a soldier. Oh, he was a soldier, committed self immolation recently over Gaj. I didn't realize the man who set himself on fire. What he did it for Gaza. That's very interesting. And you said I read that the flyers the guy had today were propaganda. They were definitely conspiracy, but I didn't realize he was a soldier for one. Tell me if I'm getting this right, because I don't want to spread stuff that's just
Or were
going
they
to be
two
gossip.
different people?
I don't know. That's the problem with that.
I
We
think
should
she's
probably.
talking about two different examples.
Okay. Well, it's amazing. So there was someone else here that Annie, Lalit. I sent my chart. Did her from you? So Annie Hamlet. Take a look for that.
I will take a look and see if I got it. I don't
Okay. No, that
recognize
was
your name.
14 years ago when she said that was going on 14 years. I see. So it triggered a memory, Mary, of your brother passing. God bless you. God bless you. And Ness was saying 2 different cases. Thank you for keeping me up. Not the same. She says that, Ness. Keep an eye on me. I can start something here. 2 different people. Here she goes. Oh God, I love you guys so much. Wow. Wow. Okay. So
And it was Annie Hamlet. Is that correct? That's correct. Annie
yes.
Hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
Annie, I do not have any. I've just looked at my mail and there's nothing there. Now, I was going to say I probably just didn't do it because with my exploding car issues, I mean, I really had 4 or 5 days last week just completely overtaken and I didn't get to any charts. So I wasn't unsure but I didn't recognize your name. I did make a list of things if I had to do, and you are not among them. Can you resend it and make sure you put astrology vibrations? I
Yeah,
had a
it's
little card.
plural.
I'll write it big so that.
Bora can put it in if you don't mind, real quick, because I
Okay,
wanted to go. Well, you
so
could
send
type
it
it
to
in
me.
as well, if you would like.
Oh,
It's just astrology vibrations with an S on the end at gmail.com. And I have heard that in the show notes on every show note. So we'll make sure that gets done. So, oh, Annie says post your address. I'll just put it in here real quick. It's
okay. I just typed it. I think it's going to come out right. Did it come out right? Yeah.
yeah, it did. So I won't do that. So I did a few numbers just for fun. First of all, we're going to start next week with an 8. So, 8 week, because it's the 17th week of the year. Now, I didn't add 1 plus 7 plus 8. I just wanted to do the pure 17th week is an 8 energy signature with an 8 universal year. And I did do Netanyahu's numbers, as I always do. We're going to reread some of these statements and get back to you right now. So, I'll get back to you. And if you ever have a question, my email is all over my stuff. So it's just my name at yahoo.com. So if you have a question, just email me. We'll get it. Or if we skip you and you feel bad about that, let me know. Okay, so Netanyahu is a 27-9, and it's all about legacy, right? And you can see that that's driving him to be the one in the history books, but he's got such a weird idea of the type of history he's making. Nonetheless, he's done that. You know who else has a Jack Smith? Has the very same energy, only it's for the legacy of the country. They're both for the country. I did do Iran's chart, and it's interesting. He's got not the chart, all of it, but they became sovereign just February 1st, 1979. And they're at 2911. Very idealistic. It can be very idealistic. Israel just became sovereign in 1948. America is like a gazillion years, 1776. But then I also is 1740, 84 is another number for America. But both America and Israel are 32-5 life path or country path. And the fives tend to be fractious, just like we like, oh, there's a war. Let's go shoot somebody. It's getting better, and it will get better, much better, but we'll manage it well. Israel is in a 9 personal year for the country in general, which means that they have to give up what just doesn't work for them to really prosper. America is in a 1 personal year. That was Israel, not Iran, Israel. One more thing that I find interesting. Talk about family lineage. So the Trump. So he is a 4 life path, very stubborn. Trump Jr. is a 4 life path, very stubborn. Eric is an 11 life path. Melania is an 11 life path. Mary Trump is an 11 life path. And Barron is a 4 life path, just like Papa and Big Brother. So it's an interesting thing, because I've been asked what's the energy of Barron? What do you think which way do you think he's going to be going? I believe he's going to be going in the way of lineage. What's started now, I think he's going to become a part of it. But those are little numbers we got here. Did you see something else in the chat that you need? Does anybody else have? I think I may do. Whoops. Cat Mama says, I think I may do a card pick by the pool this evening. I think that's a great idea. When are you going to start doing, do you do readings? Maybe you could come on and say, hey. Maria was saying, what a shame. Do you think it's a shame that Barron is in the way of the father? Is it possible to have a card reading about what the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction opposite my Saturn means? How would you frame it?
I would frame it by saying that your Saturn allows you to build a new structure and to have the discipline to bring that energy into physical form, and through rigorous analysis and critical thinking, you know how to make something real in the physical world out of all of that mess that you're able to build. You're able to make progress in the physical realm. So you have the gift of taking that kind of energy and being an engineer, know how to focus it to solve problems in a concrete way. And the house position of your Saturn would tell you in what area of life that would be um, made manifest, how you would do that. So if it's in the second house, you could change economic structures. If it's in the third house, you could have new ways of teaching, um, things like that.
Awesome. Awesome. Maria says, nice reframing. Oops, one more thing. I think Baron may rise up later to avenge his father. Well, we can witness his transition. We've all been through our bumpy roads. We've all been through, Baron, I don't care how much money you have, you're going to go through hard times. And so I think he's really structured to be in alignment with parents. Quite frankly, I know it's been a long time for me since I've had a parent, but I remember when I did have a parent when I was young, they were the only way I would survive. So of course I would do everything I could to please them and be like them. So this doesn't surprise me that Baron is interested in being in the family like that. Here we go with astrology vibrations. There she is.
Thank you, Sharon. You're such an angel.
Isn't she? And someone else just subscribed. Doggone it. I didn't star that to see who it was. Oh my gosh. Cat Mama. I mean, he may be a worse tyrant than his father. I wouldn't believe that because he hasn't really come of age yet. And when he does, it's going to be under the Aquarius umbrella. So I think I think it's going to work out really well for people. And we're at the top of the hour. I want to thank you so much, everyone, for coming in, even though I put the wrong time in. And one more. I just need to share with you that report I made for Trump.
You lose. Good day, sir. You lose.
Yes.
Debra, I wanted to point out, Debra, Debra and I were talking about having a 1 week where we speak about Jack Smith or a different show, even that we record, not this one, but not a live stream. We pre-recorded and send it out. But I want to do an in-depth study of Jack Smith. So that's coming down.
And you know what we'd also like on both of our community pages, if you wanted to put in a note saying, gosh, I'd really like to hear about Jack Smith or Netanyahu or whoever puzzles you the most, let us know ahead of time so we can make sure those numbers are done and the chart is done. So we're here for you, that's for sure. So right now, I want to thank everybody. We're going to dance off stage. I love you all. Wonderful evening.